Hello and welcome to Lindsay Akashic channel. I am your host Lindsay, and today we are opening the Akashic Records on trees. So I have mentioned before that I am permaculture design certified and a big permaculture advocate. And since it's Earth Month and Earth Day is coming up, even though Earth Day is every day, we live in this world, we need to support it, we need to replenish our ecosystems. I thought it would be appropriate and fun to open the Akashic Records on trees. Now, if you really want to make a long-lasting difference in regards to reversing the effects of climate change, plant trees. That's something to really focus on, okay? And so I was curious, knowing that information, I was curious to see what the Akashic Records have to say about trees, so we can get that highest perspective of trees and their role in our great ecosystem, okay? So really excited about this. So the Akashic Records on trees, I have done the reading previously and have taken notes, so I'm going to be reading the notes from all the questions that I asked. So Akashic Records on trees, let's get into it. I have the opening message, opening visual as always. And then I ask, what messages do the trees of the world have for us? What do they need from us? How can we support them? How do trees help reverse the effects of climate change? So we'll get the breakdown from the Akashic Records perspective. What medicine and healing do the trees have for us? What medicine and healing do we have for trees? What role do trees play in the greatest ecosystems of the world? And then what's the most important message? So for the opening visual and the opening message, I was getting the word families, family, families, associates globally to the people, like plant people. Think of trees as plant people, holding knowledge and wisdom of the world, of people and the environment, empathetic to people. Trees are empathetic to people. They easily communicate to people. Frozen time of information by looking at them. Receipts of long-term time frames. Holds history for people to study, like people, historians of the earth. So thinking of trees as the historians of the earth. So then I asked the question, what messages do the trees of the world have for us? And the record said, clearing away families like killing families of people at one time. Trees are like people, still frames. The world moves around them. They witness everything all of the time. They change according to the environment. The communication is clear. Trees are also housing for life. Houses creatures in the roots, in the trunk, and the canopy. And then they were like, okay, so stop culling. And then the trees had like a quotation, in quotation marks, a message for us. And they said, we shade the land. We cover the land from burning and dying. A temperature regulation, earth, land, and sky, protects the ground and all who live there. So those are the messages from the trees for us. What do trees need from us? How can we support them? And the record said, cultivate them, respect their purpose. They are kings of plants, gods of plants. Plant more families, replace the families. And then they were showing this thing, it was like more trees, less people. And they were saying in the future, like more trees equal to people, like the importance of trees. Think of the importance of trees as important as you think of the survival of people. Make that an equal understanding. More trees equals people. If we have more trees, we'll be able to survive, we'll have more people. Okay, so try and equate trees and people. And then they said, you need more trees than people, way more. Cultivate more trees. So then the next message was, the next question, how do trees help reverse the side effects of climate change? And the record said, biomass, a band-aid on damaged land, healing remedy, full ecosystem when planted, full ecosystemic biomass, cover land in new healthy trees, cool the earth, clear the air, balance the ecosystems, houses life, protects life on the ground, you, people, shade structures, cooling effects, evapotranspiration equals clouds and rain, mist and fog, water is life. And then they said ground workers, purpose. A tree's purpose is to be these ground workers, these full ecosystem ground workers. So then I said, what medicine and healing do the trees have for us? And then they just gave two things very clearly and to the point. They said support of all kinds, life support. So then I asked, what medicine and healing do we have for trees? And the record said appreciation, planting, hands on the dirt, growing them, knowing what they do, honor them as families, see them as like people. So that's a perspective that we can provide in support of them. That's medicine and healing that we can provide for trees. So then, second to last question, what role do trees play in the great ecosystem of the world? And the record said base layer, multi-purpose band-aid, covering, protection, support, housing for all life, band-aid to heal and protect, growth, food source for creatures, meets the survival needs of many, an all-in-one thriving ecosystem, first and last defense from harmful rays and environment, like clothing protection with nourishment and life. So they were showing like as if I was like wearing like a base layer of clothing, and that base layer of clothing also had like nutrients and medicine like to come into like as like a medicine that was coming into my skin. So like a clothing protection with nourishment and life. And then they said there are many families coursing through its veins. So coursing through the veins of a tree. There are many families, lots of creatures, lots of life within a tree, from roots to trunk to canopy. And then the last question is always, what's the most important message that we need to know about trees? And the record said, big source of life, big fish. And they showed like a huge fish, like jumping out of the water, serves and feeds many, unsuspecting, but imperative for all of life on the planet. Plant it for the planet. Healthy soil equals healthy trees equals healthy life globally. Full ecosystem in one. Trees have witnessed the world for eons and all life. Old friends. People, nuances, nuisances, troublemaking, self-inflicted suffering, all of it. And then I got another like quote, comment in quotation marks, you do it to yourselves, it could all be so easy. Simplify, plant trees. And then as I was closing the records, I just sketched it out. It was like this little heart shape. Like there was a clearing in the woods where trees had been cleared, and then someone planted a small forest in the shape of a heart. And it felt like an invitation, a way to do it, and a sense of gratitude for doing it. So that is the Akashic Records on trees. I hope you enjoyed that and learned something from it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for listening.